Welcome back. This is another episode of What Happens When. I am your host, Mr. Kevin Wayne Jones, and today I have a very special guest. And I say very special because me and him have been in the trenches together coming out of Xavier University of Louisiana. Today I have Mr. Terry Hervery. And when I first met T, I always thought his last name, I always would say his last name wrong. It was not Hervery. I would just say like Harvard or Harvey. And it was like, it's Hervery, it's Hervery. So today I have Mr. T, Terry Hervery. T, introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. Yeah, I'm Terry Hervery, born and raised out of Memphis, Tennessee. Went down to Xavier, University of Louisiana, 2013 to 2017, study finance. I get asked a lot about that. You hear Xavier, you mostly hear doctor, pharmacist, and sometimes engineer, but finance major, all down in Xavier South.
X
If
you
you know,
South.
you know.
So yeah, me and Terry, as far as being a part of Xavier coming out of the finance department, we also had a very sharing a very kindred spirit of wanting to succeed, wanting to have the things we didn't have growing up, experience life in such a way that most people can only dream of. And I remember I got hired right after college. I got hired at this life insurance and health insurance company called Usher, United States Health Advisors. And T was actually it was right before because we were still in class when I told you about it. This was right before I
Mhm.
graduated. I ended up getting hired on, and they were looking for more people. And I was like, I know someone that's just as ambitious as I am, and I would love for him to come in and join the team. So I ended up submitting your name. You came through, and I remember that first day I walked into the office. Ralph Manganello.
Mhm.
I remember him telling me, "It's like, hey, ain't that your friend?" I was like, "Yeah, what up, T? You here?" So I want to talk a little bit more about you have a business. It's called Principal Mobile Notary. I want to talk about that today as far as what got you into it. How has it been, over a year doing it? And where do you see yourself moving forward? So I don't want to get into every single question back to back. I don't want you to ramble on kind of like what I'm doing right now. But to jump it off, coming out of college, what was some of your first career moves, some of your first business moves that you got into?
So fresh out of college, I was kind of having a tough go at finding a job. Actually, I had a post grad internship set up in New Orleans, um, but something happened. I ended up having to end my lease early. I was supposed to stay down there until September, work my post grad internship in the summertime, and move forward. God had something different for me. Life really shot me back to Memphis. I had no expectation to be back in Memphis at all. Went back to Memphis before June. Sat around, was trying my best to find a job. Looking, and another Xavier classmate of mine. She was a year behind me, but really good friend of mine. Her mom ran a nonprofit, runs a nonprofit still, and she asked me was I still looking for a job, and they had a part-time like $15 hour job for me to put me in like middle school, high school, talk to the kids about goal setting. And so that's how I started. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I ended up getting a promotion. We opened a Greater Memphis Financial Empowerment Center, which got me back into what I really wanted to do, financial counseling. So that's what I went to school for, and so it ended up working out perfectly. Did that, started that in 2019. I was enjoying it, definitely was making better money, but I was still trying to get ahead because it was like, okay, I've enjoyed this extra money here. What else can I do? So, like getting into business later on in 2019, about October, September, I ended up applying for my notary license. Had a friend talking to me about it for a while, kind of ignored him. Like, it's funny that I really ignored him for a while. Like, okay, what am I gonna do with a notary license? Like, make
Right,
five,
right.
$10 here. Why do I need that? But he did it. He started talking about some numbers he was seeing. So I was like, let me see. Well, let me just see. So I went to apply for my license. Got commissioned November 2019. Did my first sign in February 2020. Man, I haven't looked back since.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? One of the things too, you had a real life changing moment happened, the birth of your child.
Oh yeah.
Talk a little bit about how that even pushed you more, because as successful people, sometimes we look for a catalyst. We look for things that's going to help us to get to the next level. Sometimes we want the goal, but you can forget about the goal. But when you have that responsibility of a little one looking up to you, and you have responsibility of a fiance or a wife or family that's really dependent on you, and it's something that you want to hold steadfast to, you want to make sure that I am who I say I am. How has that, being a father, being a fiance, being a business owner, what actually helped you with your business moving forward?
Man, my fiance pushes me forward like none other. Cause hey, she'll go get her.
Mhm.
I ain't never seen it like that up close. So when you watching it up close, man, it pushes you. And
Mhm.
then little legacy reign, Hervery, the light, the light, man. Like I can't even speak on it. Like I get emotional,
Mhm.
trying to speak on it. But man, you have to. Like I want to give her everything I didn't have. Like I didn't
Mhm.
have my mom and dad together growing up. It was my mom and my grandma.
Mhm.
Really raised by my grandma and my mom. But like I have to be able to provide a stable home for her and hopefully another one in a couple months. But um yeah, like she is the inspiration. Those two women there like make me go harder than I even knew I could go.
Mhm. And you know what? That rock is something special. That rock is something special. I really hope everyone have that type of rock in their life to where they know these are my people, these are my anchors. I can dream big, but also I can do big things.
Hmm.
So let's jump straight into it. Principal Mobile Notary. After you got your license, you say you was commissioned in November 2019. Your first signing was in February 2020. This was right before the pandemic.
Hmm. Hmm.
Starting out, how did that affect your mindset on I just got into this new career path and now the world is shutting down? How did that work out for you?
Man, I had no idea what was coming. So like when it happened, I was a little confused. I'm like, dang, I'm just trying to get some extra money. What's about to happen? But hey, like God works, man. So it ended up propelling. Like big banks were closed. So it's like they need it was I was in even more demand than I even expected. So man, I was working. I was seeing a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Like that's what I was expecting. Um, then I remember by October, I seen my first $1,000 month. I'm like, okay, this can go somewhere if I keep pushing. So I seen $1,000 month. Um, by that February. I saw my first $2,000 week. February 2021, I saw my first $2,000 week, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this on the side just to pick up some extra money. What would happen if I put real effort behind this? By April 30th, I was gone from my job. I gave him 2 months. So February, I found out like, oh, I'm making some money. The beginning of March, I said, I got y'all these next 2 months. Um, I was at the Greater Memphis Financial Empowerment Center, and we were transitioning. We had four people. One had got fired. Um, so they ended up bringing two people on. So I was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna wait until they get on and they train and they ready to go. But after that, I'm gone. And I didn't know what to expect, but the lady that hired me, Miss Sheila, she was like, I didn't even expect you to stay here this long. So go ahead and go about your business. So that's what happened. So I have enjoyed the journey. So I left in April. I knew it was meant for me because by the time August ran around, I got my first 5-figure month, and I was like, yeah, let me just keep
This
rolling,
this is
keep
it.
rolling.
Yeah. I don't even know if you realize this, but you're actually working a biblical principle out of Ecclesiastes 11:6, which is sow your seed in the morning, and in the evening let not your hands be idle, for you know not which one will prosper you, whether this one or that one or both can do
Mhm.
equally well. And you had your job, that's your morning seed, and in the evening or whatever time you was doing your signings, that's your evening seed. And lo and behold, they both were doing equally well, but you saw one doing much better.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't understand it. They don't even know that principle. And so they won't, they'll never see what two can work best for them, you know?
Mhm.
And so I'm glad it is working out for you. So also too, when people start things new, if it's not moving quickly enough, they quit.
Mhm.
Did you have that in your mind that maybe it is not for me and let me just put it to the side? Or because your goal of just this, just for the side, I want to make a couple extra dollars, you was able to stick with it and see it grow and multiply.
The latter. I just stuck with it long enough for it to work. Like that's really all it was. I started doing it, didn't know what to expect, saw some money. It was extra money. That's all I was looking for. But like I said, I just stuck with it long enough and then till it exploded. So if I couldn't even imagine quitting don't even really sound good for me. Like it ain't nothing I even think about. So that never even crossed my mind. It was doing what it needed to do at the time. It took on a life of its own, so I didn't even expect to go for it to go this far. So
That's,
yeah,
hey,
I'm just thankful. Yeah, I'm just thankful.
and it's going to grow more and more and more. So what would you say to people that want to get their notary license? And I know you recently done a webinar where you broke everything down, explained to people how to get on, how to make money, how to find the right platforms and things like that. What do you say to people that want to earn some extra income and looking into becoming a notary?
To one, you can always come talk to me. So come holler at me. But two, man, it's not as hard as you would think. Like it's a actually extremely simple process. All you have to do is be 18,
Hmm.
no felonies, and prove that you live in whatever county you're applying in. And once you apply in the county, you're good for the whole state. So you good. So you good to go.
That's beautiful. A lot of people they're afraid to jump out. When your friend was talking about this the first time, and
Mm-hmm.
you were ignoring him.
Oh yeah.
Look, I understand because it's been a couple of hey, come over here, work with us. I've had those too. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then when you get there, you're like, dang, I probably should have did this earlier. But we all have to learn and grow. When when your friend was talking to you about doing your mobile notary, at that time in your life, were you actively looking for extra income, or that's something he just mentioned because he liked it?
So he had a friend telling him about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was so they were in Chattanooga. They went to UT Chat, so
Mm-hmm.
they were in Chattanooga. I'm like, he was telling me my mind. I've only used a notary once
Mm-hmm.
ever, and I think I spent like a $5 or $10 on. Like that was my experience with it. So that's what I thought it was. But he said, "No, it's this guy making a killing off of it." I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I don't know who he is. I haven't talked to him, so I can't speak on it. So he went to get his license. I think he did his first signing and he got like $100, $150 for it. And he was explaining to me what he had to do. Like that's okay. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Always back to my woman, man. So I was talking. She, like I said, go get her, and I was telling her about notary. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'll put in my application. All right, let me go see what this about. So I went
Mm-hmm.
there and did mine, and like I said, that's what led me there. I ignored him, and I talk about it all the time. Like it make me wonder where I could be. And at the same time, it makes me wonder where I could be. And had I listened to it earlier, but at the same time, I think it happened in their order for their reason. Like I had to wait and do it right before COVID, so
Mm-hmm.
really get the benefit of it as soon as I got started. Like that beginner's luck, like that showed me that it was for me. So
Yeah.
like, it happened for a reason, but I laugh like, dang, like I even tell people like if I was doing this at Xavier instead of working on the part-time jobs, I might not even be working now. But it is what it is. I'm doing it now, and I got something for my girl, my baby. Once she gets of age, and it has given me the freedom to do a lot of things that I want. Like I haven't missed a doctor's appointment from pregnancy all the way to a first dentist appointment a couple weeks ago. I haven't missed a beat, and that a freedom allows me, freedom of my business has allowed that. So like I'm thankful, man.
You just said something very profound, and we're gonna talk about it after we get off. But that freedom,
Hmm.
that's all we ever wanted. Being able to take care of our family, being able to pay all of our bills and have something to play with. Well, for us, way more to play with.
Hmm.
If I'm being honest, way more to play with, and not having to stay glued to the I would say the cons of a 9 to 5, because there are pros to a 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong. We didn't all had them, but we also know that there's this thing called freedom. There's time freedom, there's location freedom, there's money, financial freedom. And so your freedom allowed you to be a better father.
Hmm.
I
And,
know that just makes you blossom inside. Like, imagine if I'd have stayed this position, or if I never would have listened, who or what could have happened. My baby girl now see me that every step of the way. And even your fiance, I haven't been around. My wife hasn't, I haven't had any kids yet. So I don't know how that process works. But being able to be there every step of the way, that's literally what we've always looked for. That's the reason I told you that, hey, come join me over at Usher,
hmm.
because you can go there. I remember my first conversation after I got my first sale. You was like, hey, how much you made? I was like, hey, when it come through, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you as soon as it come through. But we had to struggle, and that's what I want to get into too, because we talk about the highs and the highs and the highs. Most people's mindset are literally geared towards the lows. Like, that's what they focus on. If I go get my notary license, then I won't be able to do X, B, and C. What if I can't get on a platform? What if no one ever calls me? What if this? They always have a bunch of what ifs. And I'm sure that you had similar things, right?
Yeah.
And so, what are some of the cons that obviously they did not deter you, right? But it's something you would tell someone to watch out for moving into this business, because everything comes with an up and a down, everything,
Hmm.
and some people tend to focus on the downs more than the ups. But what is something that you can share with us that may be a con for you, but at the same time, the benefits far outweigh?
Man, yeah, I'm not sure if people will take it how I took it, but
Hmm.
last year, and it's crazy because it happened right after my daughter was born. So like the last quarter of 2022, um, things got tough.
Hmm.
Like the economy was hit hard, and
Hmm.
so people like interest rates shot up. They've been easing down, but it was a time interest rates shot up. Nobody was refinancing. Nobody was getting loans. Nobody. It was just a whole lot of stagnant. So it was a con because I went. It was a time like that was the only time I sat down and was like, dang, maybe I need to get a job. It
Hmm.
was a couple months. I was like, dang, do I need to get a job? Do I need to get something overnight so I can still be here, but like overnight I can go get some money and try to make it work the next day. But man, it picked back up towards at the beginning of the year. But one thing I learned, I was like, I had been up so long, like since I started, since February 2020 till about September, October 2022, I had never worried about work or money. So that
Hmm.
let me know, like, um, really prepare for those downtimes.
Hmm.
So I mean, it ended up being a blessing because now I know, like, I don't make those mistakes. Like I put money up. I always put money up, but that let me know, like, to be prepared to weather a extended storm.
Hmm.
And I'm thankful I didn't give up because now got back rolling 2023 and as in 2024, I'm gonna have some subcontractors under me. So I will not be doing as much work moving forward. I'll be passing it on, helping some other people make money. And that's the goal. And that really came like a conversation with you, man. I think you was telling me how I want to say not Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates wanted to have his
Hmm.
goal was to put a computer in everybody's home. I'm like, damn, I've never thought that
Yeah.
big. And I was like, you know what? I want to bring financial freedom to everybody. Anybody I can bring financial freedom to, that's what I'm gonna do. Started off thinking it was gonna be through finance and maybe running a fund or something, but I'm living it through this. Like
Hmm.
this webinar, people about to start making money, and I can't wait to show people like, hey, yeah, like here goes some people that came and talked to me, like they're making their money, and I'm helping them make money. And if I can keep going and push it further and further, the further I get away from Memphis, the better. I'm trying to get in all 50 states, man, and grow.
And grow. Principal
Yeah,
Mobile Notary is going to be a household name across the
yeah.
nation.
I want when you think mobile notary, I want you to think principal
That's
mobile notary.
that's
That's
what
what
I'm
it
talking
is.
about.
Like when you hear, when you hear, I need a notary, I need a mobile notary. You don't think UPS, you don't think any of these other, you think principal mobile notary.
Yeah, that's what I love to hear. Matter
Mhm.
of fact, what you just said really correlates with this book I have called Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddles. And he said, as a successful man, I'm kind of paraphrasing. He said, success means that what I want for myself, I want for everyone else. And you just said that. I want everyone to have financial freedom, but also be smart with their money. I was at a time too. It was same exact thing. While you were starting out with notary, with your notary, I had started with this company doing refis, who was the
Mhm.
title and escrow company. So when I'm telling you, I leave work, come home, doing deeds left and right, like 4 hours after I done got off, I'm on overtime doing deeds for this person, that person, doing research, doing this and that. And around that same time, when interest rates shot up, it started to tick off.
Mhm.
And now the company is like, hey, nobody can do overtime anymore. And I'm sitting here like, I need something else because I remember those big checks. I remember
Mhm.
you get your regular 3,000 and then you get a bonus after and I'm like, I'm just stacking, bro. I'm about to get married. I done got married. I'm like, I could do this. I'm gonna pay off so much debt and this and that. And then when that downturn comes, strong lesson I learned is that life has cycles.
Mhm.
We really don't understand that as children when your parents are taking care of you. You just know sometimes that, especially around tax time, a lot of people be like, we can do whatever we want at this point. But as a father and moving forward as a business owner, you understand now that everything is gravy, just exactly like Joseph in the Bible when Egypt had went through that famine. In their good times, he put away like 20% every harvest. So when the
Mhm.
famine came, he could still feed everybody coming out of that. And that's exactly what you're doing, what you just mentioned moving forward with Principal Mobile Notary. And your goal to make sure that it is a household name across the board, because we think about, I need a cell phone. Most Americans think Apple.
Mhm.
If someone says, man, I want some French fries, some people automatically go to McDonald's.
I know so.
When somebody says, I need a mobile notary, Principal Mobile Notary is who you need to contact.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
So at recently you had posted kind of in a way to show people what's possible doing this business. And a couple of your months, you had over 5-figure months.
Mhm.
And when I saw it, I was like, that's my dog. That's my dog. Because I've myself, sometimes I've struggled with the consistency of keeping things up long enough to make sure that it worked, but I have everything I need to keep it going. And so when I wrote this blog called If I Don't Testify. And the blog was about if I don't tell people the good that can happen, the great that can happen, the ups and downs, people never venture out and be inspired. And so what you making that post showing like this is how much I made. If you want to get on the track to making this, holla at me.
Mhm.
And then right after that came your webinar. So what was going through your mind at what I would say this, at what point did you decide, hey, I want to teach people how to do this business? I want to share with them how to do this so they can do what I'm doing.
I think it's always been in the back of my head, but I've been like almost non-existent on social media for a long time. Like only
Mm-hmm.
thing I had been posting is whatever my fiance tagged me in, so I just
Mm-hmm.
repost and stuff like that. But you don't too often see me posting. Probably before this, like my last post, maybe 2021, 2022. Like I just don't post that much. But I still read a lot, and I also listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I had just finished this book. I had just finished listening to this book, The Courage to Be Disliked. Um, so
I
I
have
had
it right there.
okay, yeah, I just finished it, and like so right after that, I just said I would just jump into it, like because the all of them. boil down to like nobody really cares. Like
Mm-hmm.
you the only person that's really making the big monster in your head. So just go out there and do it. So I just jumped out and did it. And I didn't have any idea what to do. I had it's funny to me because I'm looking at my page, like I'm watching the progression like of me kind of getting better at doing the real.
Mm-hmm.
I have still had no idea what I'm doing, but man, the idea just popped into my head and I just act on it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had no like I don't even know where it come from. Like I really would say I'm just thankful for God.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only place it can come from because I ain't worked social media, so why would I even come up with half these ideas? So it hit me. I just run with it. I just act on it. Like I'm thankful. Give it to me. And if you got something else for me, I'm gonna work on that too. So thank you.
You know what? Your diligence. I have a reel I did. This was years ago, years ago. Your diligence will make you rich. You know, he who deals with a slack hand will poverty will be your brother, so to speak, and that's in Proverbs. But a lot of people don't act on those ideas when they get them.
Hmm.
And for a long time, that used to be me, right? And in a sense, I would gain so much. You would get that what is called analysis paralysis, where
Hmm.
you start learning things and you realize I don't know enough. And so you keep trying to learn instead of just jumping out and acting and
Hmm.
acting on whatever, taking action. I would just say that and getting to that next step. Most people do that. And it stems from a place of fear. It stems from not having the courage to be disliked. One to know well, what are they gonna think about it? People gonna jump in my DM and say you should stop your da 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 this and that. It was like, bro, nobody really cares. Just do your thing. And some people will reach out. Some people will reach out. So after you came across the courage to be disliked, and you put it in your mind like, oh, I'm not my only obstacle.
Hmm.
What was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did was I woke up the next morning and did a garbage reel. But I did that joint was garbage, but I did
Hmm.
it. I didn't care because I'm just trying to get the word out. And I did not even and it's so funny because I thought it was weak. I thought nobody really see it. Man,
Hmm.
so many people reached out to me and I've heard so much, I'm proud of you and all that over the last couple. Like I didn't even expect the feedback that I got.
Hmm.
Like I didn't even know people would be interested, were interested, or anything. And my goal, I was like, I'm gonna do this webinar. I'm gonna give people a couple weeks. I think 20 days, like on my reel, it was exactly 20 days, almost 3 weeks. And um I set a goal of 10. I was like, 10 probably be a good number. That's about what I expect. I really
Hmm.
expected maybe 5, 7 at the most. I'm like, I'm gonna push myself a little bit past that and go to 10. And 16 people showed up, like almost 20 people. Like that let me know like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm
Hmm.
keep doing it. And until like I got people. I want people to see they can make money doing
Hmm.
it. Even if you just do it on the side. It's a couple. How much would a couple extra? Well, what could a couple $100 a month do for you? What could an
Hmm.
extra $2,000, $3,000 a month do for you? I mean, that's for you, and it can go as far as you could take it. And I want to like let people know that you can make $500 a month if that helps. You can leave your job and make six figures in a year. It's up to you.
Hmm.
And I just want to be that beacon that showed that it can be done. And
That's
that's
what I'm
just
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we come into a close on the podcast. Time is limited. So I have this question I always ask. There are over 8 billion people on this earth. And if you can give them one piece of advice, something that you can if you can share with 8 billion people, what would that be?
be you. Be you. Never stop being you. Don't be afraid to let the world see you. Because you never know who you might can inspire. So always be yourself, man. That's it. Like be you.
Be you. I love it. So T, tell everyone where they can reach you at your contact information, how they can find you on the socials.
All right. You can find me at Instagram, Terry.Hervery. Hervery. That's so Terry.Hervery. Also my business page is at Principal Principle Mobile Notary. LinkedIn too, Terry Hervery. You can find me. Yeah. Also on Twitter, which I need to update my name too, but YS underscore Terry. I updated my Instagram name. I need to get everything switched over. But as of right now, YS underscore Terry. If by the time you see this, it could also be Terry.Hervery. So just look out for Terry Hervery.
All right, you
If the
guys.
only
So,
two of us in the world.
all right, you guys. So this has been Terry Hervery with Principal Mobile Notary, inspiring others to inspire others to inspire others. I want to thank you all for joining us. And I'm gonna see you soon.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.